Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We are on episode 6 of the shop cleanup. And in this episode, we're going to get this car out of here. That is the main goal. In the last episode, we got everything out from, or away from the side of the car here. We still have a little bit to do on the other side, but we got most of the hard work done. Everything else is more or less pretty easy. So yeah, the plan here is to get this out. Now, I'm thinking about doing a separate video on this car here, but I don't know if I actually will. So for those of you that are curious, I'll step back just a little bit more here. What I know about this is very, very little. It is a 1948, I believe, Pontiac Silver Streak. It has the inline 8 instead of the inline 6. It is a two-door, obviously. I mean, some of you might not be able to tell. So yeah, it's a two-door. It's rough. Some of you might be wondering why it's in here. You know, oh, was there something wrong with it? What was the deal? And I asked my granddad about it the other day, and what he said was, "Oh no, there's nothing. We just didn't use it." And some of you might be thinking, "Well, that's awfully wasteful, isn't it?" And it is. That's actually a theme around here. There's a Twin City tractor out north here in these cedar trees, and it also was allegedly fine, running fine. They just didn't use it, so they parked it there. And then, well, those cedar trees you see out there grew up around the damn thing. So, yeah, this car's been sitting in here, I don't know exactly how long, but at least 60 years, if I had to guess. A long time. It might be a little bit longer, but 60 is a safe guess. So the car itself, I mean, everything's here except the hubcaps. I've only found one of those. The interior, let's hope there's not a rat in here. The interior is not in great shape at all. It has been completely destroyed by rodents. I know it's a little dark in here, but the wind's blowing, so I have the big door shut. But yeah, it's rough. But you know what? The door still shuts. It actually shuts pretty good. So, yeah, anyway, that's all I know about this car. As for how we're going to get it out of here, I'm not 100% certain yet. Originally, we were going to get some of these, Harbor Freight sells these wheel dollies. I mean, other places sell them too. But they're basically, you know, you jack up your car, and you put the wheel on these little pieces of steel with casters on them, and then you can shove it around on a concrete floor. And originally we were going to do that and then go around it with a strap or something and get out here with the skid steer and pull the car over that way so that we can take it out that door. And then we have a resting spot where it will go for now until we decide what we are going to do with it. But don't worry, I'm going to try very hard to keep this out of a scrapyard. I just don't know if we will end up keeping it or not. It's leaning towards no. So I don't know if we're still going to do that method to get this out of here. I might just see if the tires will still hold air, and we'll just drag it. We'll hook onto the back end and drag it over kind of angled and pull it out that way. I don't know. At one time, several years ago, I did put air in these tires because I was curious if they would actually hold air, and they all held air. One of them did not hold air very well. And the rest of them, I don't know how long it took for them to go flat. But I did have air in all these tires at one time. So, you know, something, they don't make them like they used to. We all know how that goes. So, I do have to do that. But before we get to airing tires up and stuff, we do have a few things here that we need to move. Now, most of this stuff is to keep. So, it just basically gets shoved over where we can get in here, air the tires up, stuff like that. And then we'll see about getting it out of here. And the goal is to get it out of here before or around Christmas, ideally. But realistically, it probably won't be out of here until New Year's. But if we can have it out of here by the end of 2024, I'll be tickled. Well, it's actually kind of a nice day today, so we'll leave the big door open. One day, all this stuff here is going to be gone and cleaned up, and you'll be able to see the fairly nice view that we have here on top of the hill from the shop. But at least that door opens all the way now. So, yes, big progress. Today is December 20th, unless I don't know how to read a calendar. We do have air in the tires because a couple days ago, Mr. Child Labor and I came out here. We got all this stuff shoved over. It was not a lot, as I said, probably in the previous episode. It's all been condensed, swept all this up. So I put 40 pounds in each tire after we got all this done, same day. And this is the only one that didn't hold air. So now I know which one didn't hold air quite as good as the others. But it did stay up for at least a few hours. I mean, probably at least a day, which that's more than enough time to get this thing out of here. All it has to do is roll, and that'll be real handy. I'll also have to air it up again when we go to move this out. So, and there's a lot to do in this segment, a lot to talk about. I'm going to try and condense it for time in the interest of making a more quality production. So we are not going to mess with the wheel dollies. I'm almost certain what we're going to do is just drag it over and yank it out. That's all we're going to do. We'll hook onto the back end here somehow or other, and we'll basically just pull it over to here, and then we'll wheel and deal it right on out. We'll have a car trailer. We'll get it on there, and then we'll take it to the final resting spot. We still need to prepare the final resting spot for the Pontiac. I say final resting spot. It's basically it's out of the way here and we don't have to look at it spot. It's on the north side of the big building, and there's going to be a few other pieces of equipment that go there as well. It's basically the spot for misfit things that don't run, but could run, but don't. So that is the plan there. I do not know when we'll get to it because, how should I say this without wasting a lot of time? Basically, we bought a bunch of stuff on auction earlier this year, and some of it we still need to go get, and it's been waiting on us for a while now, and the people that have it are thankfully patient enough that they don't really care, or maybe they do. I don't know. We just went and picked up some of the I-beams that we bought yesterday, and they're not like big. They're only like the 6-foot guardrail I-beams that you see on the highway at like bridges and stuff. We finally got them picked up yesterday, so that was cool. So that just leaves us with, and again, I am skipping over a lot of details here because it's just too much time to go into it. But we have a dry van trailer we need to get, which we couldn't get because we didn't have a truck. We thought we had a truck back in November, but we didn't. So that didn't work out. But we got another truck that we actually like better, and it's in Nebraska. We have to go get it. And then we also have a set of drills that we have to go pick up as well. So we are going to be busy going and getting stuff. And the reason that this is relevant is because the stuff you see that's out in the open here on the floor, I mentioned this probably somewhere, or maybe I cut that segment out of the last episode. I may have cut it out of the last episode. But all the stuff you see here on the floor out in the open is supposed to go in that storage building. But the storage building is full of personal, family things, and I got plenty of stuff in there too. Books, collector's items, ceramic mugs, glassware, furniture, clothing, all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, and it's packed full, both sides up to the ceiling and down the middle to the door. It is chuck freaking full, and it's a 10 by 20 building. So that's what the dry van trailer's for, because the van trailer is 53 by 96, 53 foot by 96 inches. So it's 53 by 8, more or less. And that's what that's for. But we couldn't go get it because we didn't have a truck. And then the truck we thought we had, we didn't end up getting. And so now we actually have a truck, but we just have to go get the truck. And then use the truck to go get the trailer to empty the storage building, to put the rest of the stuff from the floor in the shop into the storage building. And then we'll have a completely open and bare floor, especially since this will be gone. And then we can do the shop improvement project. That's going to be a whole series. But again, interest of time, I'm not going to go into all the details. You guys are kind of on a need-to-know basis at the moment, but that's the deal. So, as I said in the last segment, I have no idea when we will actually get this thing out of here, but it's ready. And sorry about the rapid cut there. There was something else I was going to ask or mention, but I don't remember what it is. So it must not have been very important. All right, this segment's over. We'll see how long it takes for us to get this out of here. Like I said, we still have to go prepare the spot. You know what? Let's go take a look at the spot that we're going to put this thing. We'll just take a walk through here, and I do my best to hold the camera steady, but it is just my phone. I don't have all that fancy motion dampening stuff, so if the camera's a little shaky and it's giving you motion sickness, I apologize. So we'll just come out here. I'll show you exactly where this damn thing's going to go. I mean, we might as well flesh the video out, right? I don't think I'm going to be able to glean more than a few minutes more footage to tack on here. So this, in theory, will be a shorter video to close out this series. I'm really excited. I don't think you guys really can appreciate just exactly how excited I am. We didn't lock this. That's okay. Come out here to the corral. This is another project we have to mess with. Oh, we didn't even dummy lock it. Wow. Oh, that's good for us. I'll have to come back out this way so that I remember to close that, or when we get cows in here next, they'll just escape. We can bait them back in, though. Yeah, we have a lot of fixing to do, because this not good. They don't hold up to... this corral is just struggling. So, all right. I showed before in some videos the... Oh, it doesn't pull out. That's right. The Balin building here with the... Stop catching on me. The Versatile, the 800 and the grain cart used to sit in there. Now it's just the grain cart. So the Pontiac is going to go on the north side of the Balin building right in here. As you can see, there's a little bit of cleanup we need to do and preparation, but it's going to sit somewhere in here. The sun won't be on it. There's no trees to fall on it, really, because I'm pretty sure this old hackberry, we're going to take it out because it's just in the way. And this is where that's going to go until we decide what to do with it. If I decide to restore that car, it's going to be years down the road. But I want to try and figure out if I really want to keep it now, because I can always get rid of it later, but I can't get it back later if I get rid of it. You know what I mean? So that car is going to go here, and then we're also probably going to drag the Cat D4 over and set it here. The Ferguson and a few other pieces of equipment that it could run, but they're not really important, and we're not going to screw with them anytime soon. And so this is basically going to be the yard for misfit equipment. That's the plan here. So I'm not going to show this getting cleaned up because, again, I don't know when that's going to happen. It's probably going to be pretty windy, and we're probably going to get on it, and I won't have time to get the camera out. So, yeah, with all that being said, we will just see at this point how long it takes to get the car out, and I'll try and get a little action in to close out this final episode in the shop cleanout series. All right, one final look of the shop with the car in it, and this should be the last time you ever see this Pontiac in here. Get a good walk around of everything. I have aired the front tire up again, and as you guys probably are guessing, and you might be able to hear, we're going to pull this thing out. I'll get you set up on the tripod, and Dad's ready in the skid steer. We'll pull the back end over, we'll take it out, and then we'll do all sorts of cool maneuvering. We're going to drag it around to the north side of the big building. I've already got that spot cleared, and that's where it will rest. So I'll bring you guys along for what action I can, but for getting it out at least, you'll be on the tripod. Well, here's the final resting place. Well, not final, but a resting place for the Pontiac Silver Streak. I don't know how much of us getting this out you guys saw. I tried to film it. I don't know how it turned out. I just set the camera on the tripod and we went to work. So, you know, you may see some of it, you may see none of it. I did take a picture at least, so I might throw that in there. For context, the shop's over there. You might be able to see the skid steer just a little bit. There's the shop. And so this is the big building that you sometimes might see in the background. We moved the 875 today, or I would have used it as a landmark, but there's always a landmark around here, you know, like the Sprague wagon over there. That's another project. But for right now, You might be thinking, okay, well, this is the end of the shop cleanout, right? Well, yes and no. This is the end of the shop cleanout video series. This was the final piece of the puzzle. And we're not done cleaning out the shop entirely, but we've got almost everything out of it that we need to get out of it. We'll go over to the shop and see what was underneath this car for the past several decades, and we'll finish up the video, but this is where this thing's going to sit. So if we'll get back here a little bit, take a better panoramic view. Now, we did what we could not to screw it up too much, but unfortunately, we crumpled the gas tank in a little bit, but this is from an era where the gas tank is like square, so I could pretty much do anything if I was going to keep this. And that's a completely different subject I'm not going to get into more in this video. But if I decided to keep this, or even if somebody else was going to restore it or whatever, it wouldn't be hard to fix that. But we got it over here with minimal damage, if any. So we'll get a rain on it. We might come look at it one of these days and see how it looks with all the dirt washed off. Get the chrome all shined up, you know. Pretty cool old car. I have since learned, I did a separate video about that car and my thoughts on it and stuff. I'll link it down below if you guys are curious. But I've recently learned since I made that video that this car was bought brand new, special ordered and everything by my great-grandfather. And it has 67,000 miles on it, just about, which is kind of impressive. So anyway, I don't know how long it's going to sit here, but it's out of the way, and that's what matters. The sun will be off of it for the most part. Maybe not once we take that hackberry down, but for right now, it'll be okay. So let's, I'll get this tidied up here, and then we'll go look at the shop and finish up the video. We went ahead and swept all this up, but this was all underneath that car. All of it. I hate pack rats. That scoop is packed full, but the shop floor looks much nicer. Some of you might find it hard to believe that there was a legitimate bucket full. And when I took that short little clip that hopefully you saw and I didn't cut out, I am not kidding you, this bucket was cram full. It wasn't like a bunch of dead space because of boxes or something like that. It was legitimately packed full. Not necessarily heaping, but I promise you it was full. There was a lot under that car, and it only had a few decades to accumulate, but it looks a lot better now. I wanted to show what it looked like before, we cleaned it up, but by the time I got back here from finishing up with the car, Dad had already started sweeping it, and I was like, well, okay, we'll just go ahead and take care of that then. So yes, for the first time in 60, 70 years, I can walk across this part of the floor. And you know what else I can do? We can take one of our executive chairs. This used to be my chair, my office chair, but it started hurting my back. But guess what? It is most comfortable to sit down here. My gosh, is that ever nice? I mean, that's just fancy. Look at that. I could put my feet up and everything. So, we're not done with cleaning up the shop. Obviously, there's plenty more yet to do. I mean, we got a lot to take care of, but as I mentioned earlier in the video, we have to wait on our storage trailer so that we can clean out our storage building so that we can take all of this really cool stuff and cram it right in there. It'll be pretty good. That'll give me a chance to really organize stuff. I can go through things again and throw the stuff away that I didn't end up using instead of, just throwing it in a corner and leaving it for the next 50, 60 years. What a radical thought, I know. Actually keeping stuff cleaned up and going through your inventory of used parts every once in a while. So, yeah, but even though we're not done cleaning the shop, really, we are done with the shop clean out project video series. This has been not really a very popular series, but it represents a lot of progress and some very major, very important changes here on the farm. And I'll tie into this in the channel review, which will be coming up in a few days. Today's the 28th, so I'm going to scramble around and get this video put together and uploaded. I just finished a filler video a couple days ago on making that box because I put all the D4 cat parts that I had scattered around in that box. It's heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and let that video go public. It's literally filler. You don't have to watch it. You'll probably see it before this one. You don't need to watch it though. It's just, But I'll get this uploaded, and then we'll do the channel review here in the shop, which will be really awesome. And we'll talk about future plans and everything then. But suffice it to say that, we do a little bit more out here, like getting that seat moved, then I can pull a vehicle in here. It'll be a little tight. Even if the shop was completely set up how we wanted, it would be a little tight. But I can get a vehicle in here and then, take it back out when I'm done with it. What a concept. And there's a few projects that I would love to do that I need this shop for, and I have been waiting years to do them. So it'll be really nice to pull in here with the Excursion. I got to replace all the fuel injectors. I've had them for over a year. They need to be replaced. So that'll be awesome to pull that in here. And I can have the engine bay probably right where I'm sitting, and I can pop the hood and replace all the injectors and put it on video. And guess what? If it's really windy outside or super cold or whatever, all I have to do is shut the doors. And I mean, we don't have the best lighting set up, but by golly, we can make it work. And it's going to be great, and everybody's going to love it. So, the funny thing is about this whole shop clean-out project is that every step that we have taken, getting the car out, getting the International moved, getting that weird sprayer, swather, windrower thing out of here, doing this dirt work, moving the iron, cleaning up this pile around this maple tree out here. All that stuff, when we get done with it, it doesn't feel weird. Sometimes you clean something up that's been that way for a long, long time. You come out the next day and look at it, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. That's going to take some getting used to. I have never once had that feeling around here when we get a pile taken care of or something cleaned up or fixed. I've never had the feeling of, oh, that's weird. That's going to take some getting used to. Nope. Feels normal. Like it should have been that way all along. So, enough John. I'm going to end the video here. I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. Not just this video, but all the videos that I've put out in this series. They've sucked. More so than my usual content. So everybody that has stuck around and watched them and followed along and shown an interest, I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot. And this is a huge step in the right direction around here. My sincere hope is that with this shop being set up here in another month or so, that's going to set the stage for a lot of really cool videos for 2025 for the channel. But we'll tie into that in the channel review. For right now, I will get off of here and let you guys go, all that. Again, I thank you for watching and showing an interest, even if it was just a passing interest. When we get to the shop improvement project, and I don't know when that's going to be, but when we get to it, hopefully in the next month or so, I will put it to camera. And when I do, I hope that you guys will show up and watch it. And if you don't, that's fine too. So until such time, you all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.